السلام عليكم، فيديو جديد. ان شاء الله تكونوا قاع بخير وصحتكم جيده واموراتكم طيبه، بارك الله فيكم. الحمد لله بدات تبان الحقيقه بعد عناء طويل وطويل وطويل. المهم، هاد الجورناليست بيرس مورغان، جورناليست بريطاني، هو شخصيه اعلاميه معروفه في بريطانيا. كان العداء تاعو شديد للقضيه الفلسطينيه. انا نقول لك مع كيان صوصه 100%. خلاص تبدل تودانكو، تقلب تودانكو. مانيش على الانسان خاصه، لكن السؤال اللي طرحه للسفيرة تاع كيان صوص في بريطانيا، شوف كيفاش افهمها، يعني ما لقاتش تهضر. تبعوا الفيديو.
How many children have you killed?
Pierce, Israel is not killing children. Israel is not killing children. Hamas is using them as human shields.
Israel is killing children every single day.
Pierce, this is a blood label you're putting on Israel. You know it's not true.
No, it's not actually. And what you're trying to do is be very weaselly with your words.
No, I'm not.
The truth is, you are killing a lot of children. You would argue you're doing.
You know why it's caused?
Hang on, let me finish.
Hamas is using them as human shields, and you know that.
Let me finish my question to you. You are killing a lot of children on a daily basis. That is indisputable. My interesting question for you is, how come you know exactly how many Hamas terrorists you've killed, but you have no idea how many children you've killed?
Pierce, I will give you the answer, because when you are accusing a country of killing children, it sounds to all the people that are listening to us as if Israel wakes up in the morning and says, "Oh, let's kill innocent people now." This is not what Israel is doing. Israel
But you are killing a lot of children. And my question is, how come you know how many terrorists you've killed?
Can I ask you something? Are you familiar with the international law? Are you familiar with that at all? Because the international humanitarian law says very clearly, as long as you're targeting civilian targets, you're allowed to attack hospitals if you know they're terrorists. No, but you're not answering my question. Israel is not deliberately killing children.
I'm curious why you say you know exactly how many Hamas terrorists have been killed, but you have no idea how many children have been killed. Why is it you know one number but not the other?
I'll give you the answer. Because in the end of the day, we never target civilians. We only target the terrorists.
Why don't you know the statistics?
And look, you can ask this question.
Are you saying no children have been killed in Gaza?
I didn't say that.
Are you saying that?
I didn't say that.
What are you saying? Well, what are you saying?
Here's what I'm saying is Hamas
needs
to be blamed. Hamas needs to be blamed for any child that is being killed in Gaza. Now, if you want to go into this propaganda of Israel is doing this and that, you know,
why don't you let international journalists into Gaza so they can report fairly and freely without being led around by the IDF? Let the journalists in, because you ban them, and the only reason you continue to ban international journalists from going in there is not because of our safety, as you also quaintly put it. It's because you don't want the Western journalists to get in there and see what's really happening. Only you know why. Only the Israeli government knows why you want to continue banning journalists from international media organizations coming in at their own risk assessment and actually working out whether anything you're saying is true or not. And it may be if you let the international journalists in, well, let me just finish. It may be if you let them in, then they wouldn't just count the number of terrorists who are being killed. They'd be also able to record how many children are being killed, because it strikes me as utterly extraordinary that you, as the ambassador to my country, are able to say with complete clarity and certainty 30,000 Hamas have been killed, but you seem to have absolutely no idea how many children have died in the process. No idea. Or you have no interest. I don't know which one it is.
Pierce, let me go back to your question about the journalists. I think in the end of the day,
let them in.
We are coming to the point where journalists will be allowed to get into Gaza as long as there is no risk for them. And you know
it's got nothing to do with you, the risk to journalists. It's not your problem.
From my point of view,
From my point of view,
once there is no risk to their life, I'm sure they'll be allowed to get in.
Ambassador, don't treat us like idiots, please. We're not idiots. You're not doing it for our safety. You've banned the journalists so that they don't report on what is actually happening. Only you know why you're doing that. I've lost patience when you start starving kids. I lose patience when you, as an ambassador...
So this is a lie. This is a complete lie. You know we get aid into Gaza.
It's not a lie.
How do we starve people if we let aid in?
When you launch a 3-month blockade of an already impoverished, hungry people who are bunkering down from nightly bombing raids, when you do that, you will starve people.
I think that it's totally irrelevant to the main question the humanitarian international law is asking. The international humanitarian law is never about civilians getting killed. It's only about who are you targeting. And if you're doing a legitimate warfare.
Are you happy that people are going to watch you as an ambassador to your country say that it's irrelevant how many children have been killed?
It's not what I said, Pierce, and you're totally distorting my words.
Sorry, with respect, how do you know, given you have no idea how many children you've killed?
As I said, Professor Andrew Roberts did.
How do you know it's the lowest ratio? You don't know how many children you've killed.
But
how do you know?
But in the end of the day, it's not just about children. When you're comparing, listen, Pierce, here you're really creating like the totally wrong picture. People, really? In the end of the day,
I think people can make their own minds.
In the end of the day, we know who are civilians. Civilians include also mature people. That are.
How do you know the ratio of civilian to Hamas deaths if you have no idea how many civilians have been killed?
You asked me about children. I don't have the answer specific about children, but I do have the answer about civilians versus combat.
But you're aware that it is reported that over 20,000 children have now been killed. You're aware of that, right?
As I said, this has not been backed up with facts, and I cannot approve this number.
Your children's lives are clearly very important to you. I'm just curious why Palestinian children's lives aren't.
It's not what I'm saying, but unfortunately, Hamas doesn't care about the children.
You've destroyed the place. You've killed tens of thousands of civilians in the process of killing, we don't know how many terrorists. You say 30,000. I cannot understand how you know that number, but have no idea how many children have died as well. But you say that, that's fine. If you're happy with that position, that's fine. But the truth is, you are destroying Gaza. And you have senior members of Netanyahu's government in his cabinet at senior level on the record now saying the policy is to clear them all out, clear all the Palestinians out and get them out of Gaza.